freeze, some trouble, so we will just reset this run. So as I said, this game is pretty insane for this unique gameplay. So we can start now in 3, 2, 1, go! So the very first boss of Furi, the chain, who's basically the tutorial boss. So in these games, you have many different movements possible. For example, a parry like that, that I can use to block the melee attack of this boss, and I also have a dash to, like that, dodge these attacks. And in this fight, in the second part of every single phase of each bosses, there is a, as we said, a CQC fight or close quarter combat fight, when you can only use your katana to deal damage. And in those phases, like we can spell that bullet hell phase, we can use our blaster, and the blaster is very useful to deal a lot of damage to the boss in a very short amount of times. Oh, there we go. He dodged that somehow. So, anyways, so in CQC fights, one of the most important things you have to know about Furi is to boost your katana, because it's very useful. That's make 5 times the damage of a normal katana hit. So it saves a hell of a lot of time. So it's very important to boost your katanas when you can do it in CQC fights. And one of the most useful way to doing that is to put the boss on the border of the area like that. Oh, anyway, like that. Boost your katana, because you have to place himself in a good positions to do this next pattern. And because of that, you have a cycles when you put the katana on the border, boost your katana, and redo some setups to make the boss in the border once again, boost your katana once again, and deal tons of damage like that. So as I said at the beginnings, I don't know if we heard me because of the tiny freeze we got. Furi is also a bullet hell games, more like an hack and slash bullet hell in sort of, and each bosses have a big bullet hell phase at the end of at the end as the last phase, like this one. So we have to carefully dodge every single damage like this, and I will trigger this the next part of this dodging sections. So important to know, when the boss is in golden like that, it's impossible to hit, so I just have to survive in sort of, but it's pretty scripted, so I can just walk around him like this. And that was the chain. I will quickly change my way to dash for the next boss. So that's not a very good. The good things about the speedrun mode of Furi like this, it's we have an in-game splitter. That's crazy. That's crazy good. That's crazy comfortable to have that in a games. So a strap, second boss of Furi. I will carefully stun lock the strap with a half charge shot like this, and it's pretty useful to. Oh damn it! Yeah, that was very bad. I think I destroyed something really important. A pillar that I will use to trigger the strap. Yeah. Anyway, I will do another strat, because there is another pillar a little bit in a little bit. Oh yeah. No, that's very bad. That's very bad. Anyway, we will use a safe strat. That's me. I shouldn't speak about when I'm doing that, because it's pretty precise. Anyway, let's do very safe strat. We'll see the actual old strat of this boss. Clack. So the boss she's being to be very angry because of what I'm doing, and use this mighty weapon. So once again, to preparing the next CQC fights, I will carefully stay at the border of the area and have the boss also at the border of the area. By the way, because I miss this strat, I will redo this setup with the normal way to dash. I use a keyboard and mouse to do this, to play these games. Most of the speedrunners use a classical controller. Oh, damn it! That was very bad. Anyway, let's redo it. There we go. That's fine. So normally I have to use once again the pillar here in an optimal way to deal with this boss, but because those pillars get destroyed, I cannot use them now. So I will just carefully dodge every single damage. And as I said, use the blaster to constantly do damage to the boss. Once again, carefully deal a combo, boost the katana once again, and there we go. So the boss will unlock itself here and try to go away to trigger a very scripted part. But if I'm fast enough, I can catch her, perhaps. I will try to do it, no matter if it's losing time. There we go. So that's not intended at all. That's not exactly a glitch, but it's once again a stun lock. When we can entirely jinx this this entire phase because of this because we can catch the boss in a certain way with a clear setup at the border of the area. So I took my time to doing it, but anyway, I really would like to show that. So here we go. Once again, we are in the last phase of this boss. So this will be a huge bullet hell section. This music is pretty nuts, to be honest. This is technically it's part of the things that made me speedrun these games. I don't know if you. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of speedrunner in the chat right now, and I know for some speedrunners to hear the same music again and again and again and again and again, you begin to be crazy sometimes. So you have to use your own playlist instead of the game. Sometimes some speedrunner doing that to have something else to hear when they do resets after resets. But in Furi we don't have this problem because the music is such an awesome thing, and it's not a problem to hear it. Oh damn it! Just tiny, a little bit too. I would like to be a little bit too fast to hit this this girl, the Pixar girl, the lamp. So I dodged that. Once again, the boss is in golden, so it's invincible. Can't do anything about that. But now the boss is done. So that was the strap, and here we go for the next boss. And this very first phase, that's very important to deal with it correctly. So this is the line, and the line have a lot of shield. And by dealing with this shield with charged shot like this, and by doing it, I will just focus a little bit. Damn it. Anyway, many mistakes, but it happens. Not too big of a deal. I lose not a lot of time, to be honest. So this is a very slow strat. I saw some speedrunners. In fact, I recognize some names in the chat, and there is a very fast strat, very difficult to do that I never pulled off correctly. So I use my own setup. In fact, this is a very attractive speedruns to be honest, because you can run as your rhythm. With many and include many different technique optimizations, boss after boss or try after try. And it's a pretty rewarding things to see you improvise your times in this game in particular. So I will damn it! I will carefully once again push the boss in the border for setting a close quarter combat fight, as I explained it earlier. Here we go. Boost the katana. Put the boss on the border, it will teleport so I can boost the katana once again and redo it. And that's a 2-cycle. In an optimized speedruns, we always want to have a 2-cycle close quarter combat fight. Because we do most of the times bosses have 15 HP, 15 HP, 15 life points. in the close quarter combat section, and you can do 7 damage with a boosted katana at the very first cycle, and 8 damage after that for a total of 15. So let's do it once again. But before that, I have to deal with this JoJo reference because it stopped the time. Boost the katana. 5, 6, 7. Boost the katana. Oh, anyway, I touched the guard somehow, but it's not too big of a deal. So once again, we are in the last phase of the line. So because of that, he's invincible. He's once again in golden. I just have to survive for a certain amount of time. But here, that's not exactly an auto-scroller, because the line will summon many pillars, and to trigger the next part of this phase, I have to deal with those. Pillars as fast as possible, of course. So I will take a little bit of a risk, but not too big of a risk, because yeah, it's not PB attempts. So just and a deaf ear is very punishing. This is basically a die and retry games. You will die in Furi. If you never played Furi, you will die, and you will learn because of that. And this is why Furi is a pretty. Let's play safe. This is why Furi is a pretty good introduction to the speedrun world, because die and retry is basically how a speedrun works, because the feeling of the reset of a speedrunner is literally that every time, no matter what the game he played. So yeah, it's a pretty awesome games to introduce someone to the world of the speedrunning. But in fact, the game also have a pretty huge lore, a pretty brilliant history with a lot of mystery at the beginning. And we actually, because of the speedrunner mode, we only see half of the game, because the second half is dialogues with bosses, a very slow walk between the area of each bosses. So I will not spoil the story. The story is pretty awesome, to be honest. So don't hesitate to, if this gameplay piques your interest, be sure that the story is very interesting too. So the scale, boss number 4. Let's see. Oh, damn it. No. Anyway. Because I was speaking about something else, I didn't focus about this very important CQC fight. So that was pretty chaotic. Anyway. So the scales use a pretty interesting laser. But by using the parry, like I explained against the chain, at a good time, I can block this projectile. That's very useful, because we can use the projectile of the scales against itself, so against him. So it's pretty cool. So this phase 3 is very important to optimize correctly, because it contains a cutscene during this close quarter combat fight, and I really don't want to say that, because that will lose me a lot of time. Unfortunately, it remains a tiny bit of. Oh yeah, I will waiting here, because I really don't want to set up him at the center of the area. Okay, I counter. I will take care about that. And there we go. So yeah, if you don't deal with this boss very quick here in this close quarter combat of the phase 3, he will dive in the water and trigger a quick time events. That can lose a lot of time. So let's set up. Remains 5 HP. And because of a charged katana is 5, that's done. So once again, I use the parry by being very close to the boss like this, and by knowing the timing when he uses these bullets, I can instantly. Oh, how dare you! There we go. Once again, 7 damage here. And done. As you can see, at every single CQC fight, I finish with a pretty different slashes like that, with by holding a little bit my buttons to slash the boss. That's make the double of a normal hit. And here, it's time to have a little bit of water. Time to stay ready. And there we go. Yeah, because it's definitely a safe spot when you when you block this laser. And even because I'm full life, even if I get hit by those shockwaves, as you can see here, I can just have to stay on the ground and everything is fine. Well, so I will. Let's dodge a little bit those things to finish him off. There we go. That was the scale. So let's go for the next boss, boss number 5. Yeah, that was the boss scale. That was the boss number 4. Sorry, I did the mistakes earlier. So boss number 5, the hand. The end. I'm always mispronouncing this guy. So very important about him. He have a big shield, and this infamous shield can block your bullets. Oh, just give me a moment. Yeah. Ah. Anyway, I'm pretty bad at this very first CQC fight. That's why I focus a little bit. Yeah. So the hand, I have a pretty big shield, and that's pretty problematic because you cannot shoot him every times. You just have to wait to use a pattern, and when he stops this pattern, I will instantly use the katana instead of the blaster. So once again, he's pretty well positioned right now. Perfect, like a 2 cycle. So like I'd say, it's exactly what we need. So here we can dodge things because of the spinny winny pattern, but I don't need that. I just have to stay on the ground. And there we go. Let's continue. So he will use. Oh, okay. It's pretty run down the pattern he should use here, but he used the waves, so it's pretty easy to dodge. Make my life easier. I can. Oh, that will be perfect. A perfect setup. Once again, let's try to do a 2 cycle. Oh, damn it. That should be... I don't know... I missed my my last slash, but I don't know if I trigger one of the most interesting glitch of this... Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, that's need a lot of concentration as a glitch. I really need to be very focused to be ultra focused about this fight. This fight is pretty intense. So yeah, it's basically a soft lock because of my positioning that we discover. Oh, there we go, like that. So I use a cutscene here because in this CQC fight that's done a hell of a damage, and I finish him off with that. Perfect. So yeah, the reason why the boss was pretty soft lock in this last phase is because by being in a very precise distance against him, so the boss have 2 different choice or pattern. He can use a big laser if you are too far, or he can hit you with a melee attack if you are too close. But you can be exactly between these two dice and yeah, these 2 check, and the boss don't know what to do because of that. Let's carefully... Oh, damn it. Anyway, that's not a trouble. A very big problem about the risk of a full charge katana. If you get hit, you lose the charge. So it can be a big deal, a big time loss if you don't take care. And there we go. That was the hand. Let's continue. Next boss is the total opposite about what we saw. This is the song. So the song is a boss, is literally a boss about projectiles. Yeah, a boss about projectiles. Yan can easily dodge every single thing. So we have to be careful about. There we go, blocking her here. Instead of triggering the cutscenes that can trigger by doing this perfect parry, I prefer to use the blaster because it's more optimized for the timing. Okay, big laser. I will do a tiny combo here, finishing by a half charge slash. That can, as I said, optimize the damage. I will use a half charge shot here to cancel this big charge. So many different optimizations that has been found by the speedrun community of this. Oh damn it, that was very bad. Anyway, let's deal with this. Oh, there we go. That was a little bit of time loss, but not too big of a deal, to be honest. So yeah, the speedrun community of these games is pretty awesome. I will speak about that later. But yeah, if you are already play the speedrun mode of Furi or played Furi or would like to replaying it with the speedrun, do not hesitate to join the speedrun Furi, the Furi speedrun Discord. And there we go. So phase 4. Oh, I definitely don't want to see this pattern. Please? Yeah, this one. I really would like to cancel this one every time with a tiny slash like this. You just have to be careful. Tiny slash. Okay, that's fine. Oh, that's perfect. She's on the border. That was a perfect setup. Oh, a tiny bit late for my F slash, so she had the time to dodge. Anyway, not too big of a deal. Once again, we have to keep her on the border. Unfortunately, this rain, this rain that she just summoned is absolutely random as a positioning, so you have to deal with that. Perfect. And there we go. That was a perfect 2 cycles. I'm pretty happy about this CQC fight. So here we go for the last phase. Once again, the bullet L section of the song. To deactivate the big shield she have around her now, I have to deal with those 4 pillars. So for doing that, I will use a full charged shot to go through all of the bullets. And I will try to do a tiny skip. Oh, it's dangerous. Too dangerous. I will not trying to doing it. I really don't want to show a death, so I will keep my HP like this and use a tiny knockback, like anyway, like that. But that's fine. There is a way to skip part of the dialogue at the end of the space, but honestly, it's pretty risky, and I'm not as consistent as needed to doing that in a marathon. Here we go for boss number 7, the burst. So the burst is one of the most complete boss of this entire run. One of the hardest boss in a casual game, in a casual. In a casual game, I mean. And she have a particularity. She's a hidden sniper, but at the end of because at the beginning of each phase you have to find her because she's hidden. She's somewhere where we don't know. We can use the parry like this. Yeah. So because my character like that. Turn around with this parry to possibly dodge some things that the one can shoot at me. That's show me where is the boss is. In fact, so it's pretty useful. Oh, I was a little bit scary about that because I didn't take care about all of the projectile. So let's deal with some drones. Drones like this. There we go. So phase 3, once again I use the parry. So as you can see, the parry said to me that she's here. Here we go. I touch her, and let's go back at the center of this area to trigger the next part of this phase. So, of course, it's a sniper, so if you get hit, it's instantly a one-shot, and that will be a death. So let's do not doing that. A tiny combo here. No, I can do a tiny seconds break if... Yes! Perfect. She didn't go to the center. That can lose you a lot of time. There is a lot of pattern we don't see because speedrunners found strat that's so fast that we can trigger the next part of the boss without seeing it most of this pattern. So once again, a tiny... There we go. I will try to do the CQC. I will not speak here. Okay. Perfect. This timing is pretty close to do this this CQC fight. This pretty precise CQC fight. Oh yeah, and I didn't explain about that. If you stay in the corner in this phase 4 and 5 of the burst, somehow she doesn't. She will not trigger any other pattern than melee attack, and that's pretty useful because she have way many other pattern that can use blue a lot of time, like drones. That's perfect. So it's also very important to do this CQC fight very fast because, like against the scale, the bursts have a quick time events phase if you are too slow at this moment. So we are once again in a bullet L section. So the boss is invincible. I just have to survive, but I can win a little bit of time by making her shoot faster when I spot when the wall will spawn. There we go. The walls are in the bottom center. Yeah, there we go. When the wall is in the center, she will shoot instantly, and that saves me a little bit of time. Not the center wall, right? Center wall. There we go. No, right once again. Remains one wall, if I'm right. There we go. So one center wall. That's fine. That's definitely fine. So the very last CQC fight. I will put the boss on the ground. Normally we shouldn't do that. That's losing time. But here it's just for safety. And there we go. Because I didn't have the border to making a clear setup about that. And there we go. So incomings. According to the story, this boss is the strongest man we will fight. Perfect. It was the very first phase of this boss. So yeah, if you can touch the edge, the name of the boss number 8, in a phase because he only has 5 HP, but he deal a hell a lot of damage. So this boss is by far my favorite. Boom! Once again, so 1 hit KO in this phase 3. Pretty different. Phase 4, you have 10 HP, the double. So you have to do some... Oh, that's a good pattern, but I'm not as skilled as needed to using it correctly, so I will doing that. Anyway. There we go. So that was the edge. A pretty good one, I think. Oh my god, it's better than my PB. A green! Green splits, 1 minute 01. Normally, good speedrunners are always consistent to do this boss in less than a minute. So yeah, it's pretty optimized. So, boss number 9, the burst. The burst. I mean the beat. So in a classic gameplay, as a very first playthrough, after beating the burst and the edge, this boss will seems to be very easy. But in a speedrun it's different because somehow she can be a little bit trolly. That's perfect. Once again, because I'm pretty used about that, I will change my dash configuration between phases here. It's just my own setup. Don't take care about that. because as I said, most of the very good speedrunners have the use a pro controller I mean to do this boss. For me, I using a keyboard. That's also pretty useful, and even the pad users, the controller users, have sometimes different configuration. I saw, for example, the world record holder of the keyboard world record holder of this game, Sombra Cake, in the chat, who also use a different configuration as me. So yeah, just use what you are the most efficient with, and that's because yeah, this game is pretty well designed in terms of configuration too. So a tiny cutscene, because this tiny girl, even she is not very strong, she is the guardian of this big machine. I'm forming my laser. But that's not very useful, as you will see. And there we go. We'll just once again boost my Katana to win times. Waiting some opening to deal with this boss, and boom! And there we go now for the final boss of this game. The Star. So the Star is a very different boss than any other bosses that we just saw, because we will have a pretty mighty suits that transform or charge at dash with a big laser like this. And one of the most efficient way in a speedrun to use this big laser is to spam the starter of this laser, because the starter frames of this big laser do an extra damage. So because of that, it's way more optimized to spamming it like this. So I also put myself in a pretty intense situation in the corner, because in this corner it's somehow a safe spot, not against the laser but against any other projectiles. So it's pretty useful. So I just be careful. I focusing about my timing, because I'm pretty used to hear the click of my mouse. So it's why I'm pretty used to don't speak at all when I'm doing it. But that should be fine. So here a pretty interesting positioning once again, a safe spot, and also yeah, there we go. And with the angle of my laser, I can touch the two hands at the same time, like this, and that saves a lot of time too. It's pretty precise, to be honest. I think the right one will die, yeah, soon. I will finish the second one off. There we go. So now a pretty interesting glitch, a very interesting glitch will happen just right now. Just keep watching the life bar on the top right. I will not speak. Keep watching the life bar on the top right.
Tu as des traits que nous n'avons jamais vus chez les nôtres. Égoïsme.
And there we go. That was the phase 4 of the store. Somehow, because you are so close to the hand and using the laser, this laser do damage at each frame. So it's basically instantly kill this boss at this phase. So also because it's based on the frame rate of the games, this is why this games is mainly speedruns on the PC version, because for example in the PS4 version, the frame rate is lower and this phase is so way slower because of that. So it's mainly because of this phase. The PC version of the games is the fastest one. So here we go for once again, it's the last phase of the boss. So once again, it's a bullet L section with a pretty interesting safe spot, as we can see, at the middle bottom of this phase. So I just have to survive during 2.5 minutes. So I hope you are enjoying this run, because yeah, honestly it's a pretty awesome game, especially for this music. There is a speedrun mode, so you don't need to have light splits to do things with to think about things about the real-time attack of the games, because there will be an in-game attack, an in-game times that's being used in the speedrun.com leaderboard. So yeah, pretty easy to dive into the Furi speedruns with a pretty active community, to be honest. Many new French speedrunners have taken these games pretty recently. I'm so happy about that. So I will tell some of the names. There is Evian, there is Luster, there is Ghost Death, there is many new speedrunners. I'm forgot about some of them. And also a very big shout out about the Furi speedrunner community. Most of the active runners are really intended to optimize this PB pretty recently. I think about Chuck Bob, Sombra Cake, Jimmy Jam, the World Record Order, the Shade, and yeah, once again I forgot many other guys. And here we go, time! So that's a 33:03. Honestly, it's a pretty bad time for me, but this in a high level, these games require it's my excuse, sorry, require a deep focus, especially in CQC fight, and I think that's fine. That's totally fine in for a marathon. So with a tiny green. There is a lot of red, but it's a tiny green things. It's absolutely okay for me. So I hope you're enjoying this run of Furi, and let's go now for some things in 2D instead of this 3D things with Double Dragon 2, if I'm right. So thank you a lot. Thank you, chat. Goodbye, and having a good Helvetic